Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. I'm Joe Borick. This is Sports Fanatic News, and today this video is going to be on a reaction to another tough loss for the Flyers. So, what happened last night was Giroux scored a goal 48 seconds into the game. It was a nice setup. A guy blocked a shot, went down from being stunned by the block. Voracek, I believe it was Voracek, got it over to Giroux, and he slammed it in the back of the net. That's about the only good thing Voracek did last night, who had a off game for 2 games in a row now, a very off game. He took bad penalty again, just didn't look very good out there as a whole, besides in the first minute of the game. With about 9 minutes left, we let Chris Tierney score to tie the game. That was a pretty good goal. We used our own player as a screen, but we let the guy get right through the neutral zone and pretty much put up no fight. Later in the game, Joe Thornton scored, which was kind of a pretty soft goal. I mean, Joe Thornton's a pass-first person, so I can see why on the power play Michael Neuwirth would be leaning to one side. But as a goalie, your number one rule is make sure to block anything from going through your legs, pretty much in any instance. You want to get beat anywhere but your 5-hole. And that literally went right through his 5-hole. And that's not something you want to see from a struggling team, because the goals like that can just mentally bring you down as at most teams, but especially when your team's struggling. Then on the night, Dell made 22 saves to earn the win. Neuwirth made 31. So again, the Flyers allowed a lot of shots on net. Vlasic added a insurance goal that Neuwirth pretty much said he should have had also. He said he should have had Thornton's goal and Vlasic's goal, which went through traffic, but it looked like he reacted like it hit something, but watching the replay multiple times, it didn't hit anything. So it's almost like the guys are pretty much seeing things at this point because we're playing so bad. That's what what's his name said after on the post game, Bill Clement. He's like, yeah, it must be like the guys are seeing things now because they're not playing well. But the meeting they finally had players held a meeting after, which was something I really wanted to see a while ago, but it's great that they finally did it because it shows the leadership we've all been wanting to see, which was having someone step up and basically say, hey, we need you guys to carry more load, we need you guys to carry more load, and we need to all come together as a teammate and damn it, do this all together. Because you can't. The number one thing of being a team, I never played in professionals, but being a team is the same message no matter what it is you got to help yourself through things, but the number one rule of being a team is sticking together and being there for each other. I don't care how well that guy's doing compared to how well you're doing. You're still supposed to help and guide everyone along, especially in hockey, which is a very chemistry-run sport. You can argue in other sports, basketball you can't, but in other sports you can argue you don't need it as much because it's not as chemistry-run. But hockey and basketball, those two main sports, you pretty much need everybody to be pulling for each other. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything done, except for a few periods of games like we did when our first line was just scoring, and now we can't get enough from them because you have to expect that a line's going to fizzle out at some point and still produce, but not do 3-4 goals a game. You can't expect that from one line. But it's nice that they finally had a team meeting, and they finally were able to talk things through about how to keep going into the future this season. And Ron Hextall also talked after the game in the locker room, basically saying, they asked him if they think this is still a playoff team, if you would reassess that now, and he said, no, I think we're still a playoff team because we have good caliber players, which is true. Nolan Patrick's a very good second overall pick. Couturier's having the best offensive season of his career. G's having a good year. Voracek's having a good year. Simmons has been off and on, but that's because he got shaken up for a while, in my opinion. It seemed like he was playing injured. And Martel, since he's been up, has looked really good. And I'm with Michael Barker on postgame saying I think we need to see more of him in key situations because he's honestly been one of the most aggressive players on the team since he's been up. And I know he's not experienced, but a big problem with the Flyers of late in our 9-game losing streak, we only won 2 games, 2 by the way, in the whole month of November. And the only reason we're relevant still is because we went to so many overtimes and lost. The biggest problem with the Flyers is how conservative they're playing. They seem to lay back too much and basically just not get to the pucks. They dump them in, and then the only person following the dump in is the guy that dumped the puck in, and no one's there to help him half the time. There needs to be a lot more aggressive plays by the Flyers because at least if a team makes mistakes, when you're like, okay, takes penalties that you're like, okay, that's a good penalty that prevented a goal, or makes a mistake because they were aggressive and tried to score a goal, those can be excused a little bit more. Lately, the Flyers' mistakes are just stupid mistakes of clearing the puck into somebody, then they score, trying to shoot like Ghost did the other game and shot it into somebody, then they score, or basically just shooting in the traffic when you have no good thing can come out of it because there's a bunch of guys in front of you and they block the shot, or we just take so many bad penalties. So we need to stop playing conservative and play more aggressive, which apparently was part of the message of the team meeting. So we'll see how that goes coming in Saturday against Boston. This is a 1 o'clock game at the Wells Fargo Center. But quotes from last night's team meeting to the media afterwards were, Giroux said, "We were frustrated. The positions we're in right now is really frustrating, actually. It's not the position that we thought that we would be in right now. The only way to get out of it is to go back to work and grind it out a little bit more." That's typically what you would expect to hear from a captain, basically saying we need to get back to work and we need to work harder because you're the team leader. That's what you expect from people that basically run, in essence, your company or team, to basically say, guys, you need to handle the load. We need to all get back on the grind and get going again. Wayne Simmons said, "It's not this one, it's all 9. It's a commutative thing. We have had leads. We have had chances to win in overtime, shootouts, whatever it may be, and we haven't done it. I know it's unacceptable. This isn't right." So Simmons basically was kind of calling out the team in a sense, which is another good thing to have. It's good to have someone that says, let's get back to work, then have another person that basically calls people out and says, this is unacceptable, we need to change this. So that's a good mix. And then last quote I have here is Valtteri Filppula, who's another assistant captain. "There's a lot of games where you got an opportunity for us to play better, and actually we have had a few games of a few of the meetings normally that's not a good sign, but you just got to work hard. You got to try to get out of this mess, and the next game is another opportunity." So Filppula kind of took the same tone as Giroux, basically said we got to get out of this mess, we got to get back to work, we got to put our heads on our shoulders, keep our heads above our shoulders, and just keep pushing and get ready for the next game. So Giroux did extend his streak, though, his point streak to 5 straight games. So he's still been producing. So it's not on captain or most of the first line per se, besides the past 2 games. Jake Voracek's made many costly mistakes. But Couturier and Giroux have been continuing to produce a lot. And Voracek's still been getting assists, but when your team's going bad, even though you're getting points like assists, sometimes that gets outweighed by the fact that you're making big mistakes that cost the game when your team's going bad, especially. And then Robert Hagg just continues to hit. The Flyers blocked 22 shots, by the way, so there could have been a lot more shots. 12 of our 18 skaters got in the way of at least one shot. And Hagg is the leading rookie with hits and plus minus. So that's very good. He's having a very good season. And that's the thing, like I said yesterday, a lot of the things isn't because of young guys making mistakes. Like Jake Voracek made a lot of mistakes lately. Hagg, who was young, should have got a penalty, but he didn't get called, so we got lucky there. And McDonald just came back, so I'll give him a break to get into the stretch a bit, but he's been pretty good. He just made a few little mistakes. And then when Gudas comes back, you have another veteran on defense to help the young guys, but he needs to stay disciplined. That's been Radko Gudas' problem his entire career. He's a solid defensive defenseman, but he gets suspended and basically is out for 10 to 15 games, because the next one I think is 15 after you get 10. So he needs to stay disciplined and stop doing stupid things also. Well, this has been a reaction video to the Flyers. We play Saturday, like I said, against Boston at 1 o'clock. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Peace.